America's going through a financial crisis right now. We gotta do something about it. Stay tuned. Hi. What's up, sunshine? How you doing?
And now, back to Living the American Dream on AM 560 WIND.
Welcome back to Living the American Dream. I am investor Mike Verzini.
And I'm financial strategist Matthew Sapala. Treasurer Neely, are you with us?
I am. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Glad that you can be part of the show. Now, what do you say to us Chicagoans in this time of financial fear and crisis?
I want to make sure everybody doesn't panic, first and foremost. These are definitely difficult times, and it's a great opportunity to get back to financial basics. So we need to look at our budgets, save money, and reduce spending. It's just that simple.
It's amazing that you mentioned that, because when professional athletes go back to training camp, the first thing they do is go over the fundamentals.
That's right.
Now,
it applies in all areas of life.
Absolutely. Now, since you're the treasurer, how's the city money doing in Chicago? Are pensions and projects a part of the mortgage meltdown and exposed to massive losses?
Our money is safe. My money, your money, the city's money, we are safe. I invest on a very short end of the yield curve, and I only invest in U.S. guaranteed securities, so the money is safe. I want to assure your listeners that the $7 billion that I have for the city is very safe.
That's all?
That's it. And I keep it right next to me at all times.
Exactly.
Under the pillow at night.
That's right.
Exactly.
Just make sure it's with me.
Absolutely.
Do not panic. I don't want your listeners going to their bank and taking their money out and putting it in their house, because that subjects them to robbery or fire. So I want to make sure that they leave their money in a financial institution. If you have a whole lot of money, more than $250,000 in any one bank, then you can consider, dividing that money to several banks. But if you have less than $250,000, keep your money in one bank. It is safe, it is guaranteed, it is insured. I always tell people that they really need to know where their money is going.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggest that people do a financial diary, and they track their spending every penny for about a month. And then they can see where their money's going. I think it's very important that we pay ourselves first. And what I mean by that is we need to save. We need to stop this immediate gratification that we have fallen victim to, and we need to start saving money and spending less.
And you've always mentioned establishing a budget. If it's such a fundamental thing, how come a lot of people just don't do that?
I don't think we're taught to do budgets, frankly. It's not taught in school. It's not taught in college. We don't hear about it in the media. But you need to establish a budget. And you can actually go to my website, ChicagoCityTreasurer.com, and it has an outline of how to establish a budget. But you need to know how much money's coming in and exactly where your money's going. And so you need to pay your rent or your mortgage or your car note, your electric bill, and they're fundamentals that you need to spend your money on. But if you do the spending diary that I suggested, you'll really get a sense of where there is room for improvement in your spending. So if you're spending $100 a month on coffee, for example, maybe we should cut that back a little bit. But you don't know that unless you track it. So it's important to do a budget. It's important to have short-term financial goals, mid-term financial goals, and long-term goals. And a short-term goal may be you need to buy a new computer. A mid-term goal is you've got a child that's going to college in 4 years. And then long-term goals are something like you want to have a house or plan for retirement. But you need to know your goals, and you can't set those goals unless you know where your money's going.
Many times people, we had a client come into the office, and we told them they spend $6,000 a year on clothes. They're like, we don't spend $6,000 a year on clothes. I said, well, if you break that down, it's about $500 a month. You know what they said? Oh, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Right.
Now, what are some of the destructive, you mentioned panicking, and we've mentioned that money is a lot of behavior and less head knowledge. What are some of the destructive behaviors we do that we take for granted that keeps us from taking advantage of opportunities?
Again, it's about immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
You will spend $60 on a pair of shoes, and you will put it on a credit card, and you will take 10 years to pay off that pair of shoes. And the fancy term for that is you're not matching your assets with your liabilities. So a mortgage is a 30-year mortgage, and your home will last more than 30 years. So that's a good matching of an asset and a liability. You need to pay cash for a $60 pair of shoes. Afford the shoes, don't buy it. It's just that simple. We've got to get out of this habit of I want it now, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to buy it now.
According to the U.S. A two-day survey, most people say it is really hard being in the middle class. What would you do to get to the next level?
We've got to save. You know, we have to make sacrifices. I like to tell the story that my father and his brothers came from very rural Mississippi, uneducated black men, without a dime. They came to Chicago for the American dream. And they saved and they sacrificed. And I don't think we understand that as a concept anymore. That, again, we want what we want it now, we'll just put it on a credit card. But you have to save and you have to build equity. You have to build assets. And if you're putting all of your money on credit cards, you're actually doing dis-savings, which means that you're not saving any money.
Now that comes from Miss Neely, who's also educated with the MBA in finance from the University of Chicago. Now, Miss Neely, you have resources there at your office. What do you provide the public?
We have a lot of great things in my office, and again, you can go to my website, ChicagoCityTreasurer.com. But I take financial literacy very seriously. I'm working with Chicago Public Schools, trying to make sure that all 500,000 students receive some form of financial literacy. We are working with all 7 city colleges doing wealth fitness for adult classes. Again, you can go to my website. These are free classes that will teach you how to make a budget. It will teach you how to manage your money. It's just basically a fundamental class. And I find it interesting for your listeners that I have visited those classes, and they are predominantly women in those classes. So I want to make sure the brothers and sisters, the sisters aren't the only ones in there. We need to make sure the men are out there also going into these classes. On another front, I want to make sure that our small businesses have access to affordable capital. So we have some loan programs that are not administered by my office, but we fund the loan programs. We have the Skyway Fund program, and we also have the Treasurer Small Business Loan Program. And again, go to my website and you can get a lot of information.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Treasurer Neely, for your insight and most of all, leadership and helping us get the word out.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Folks, don't touch that dial, because after the break, we'll discuss some actionable steps you can take to keep your American dream from turning into a nightmare on Wall Street. Also, we have a live event being held in